everyone, it's Mel Power and welcome to this week's show. I am incredibly delighted, excited, but also I have to say my heart is beating at almost 100 miles an hour in my chest with emotion because my guest today, Hayley Wrenn, is one of the most inspiring women that I know. She's from the beautiful hamlet of Hawke's Bay. It's a little more than a hamlet. It's a beautiful part of the world in New Zealand. Welcome, Hayley. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thanks for having me, Mel. I think you've oversold me, though.
Absolutely not. And I know that every person that's going to hear your story today is going to go, oh, Mel, now we know. So without further ado, lovely, give us a quick snapshot. Who's Hayley? Where are you from? And why do you do what you do?
So I run the business Accountabill. Obviously, we hold our clients to account for their own business growth. I am ex-IRD, so I used to actually be a debt collector for inland revenue and prosecuted companies for non-payment of PAYE. And then I jumped ship and started investigating bankruptcies and liquidations. And every single time, my clients were little business owners that had bad advice or no support at all. They'd made a mistake, they ended up in trouble. If they had the right advice, if they had the support, they wouldn't have been my clients and they would have been successful business owners. So I sort of jumped out of that world of working with the government, and now I empower business owners to actually be successful by giving them that support they need, by actually educating them on what they need to know to be a successful business owner. I love it.
Very important. People don't realise just how important the role of what their financial advisor, how important it is and what we do. And you've explained it so beautifully.
Yep. What we do is the difference between little Sarah getting her ballet lessons and not.
So. That's the important stuff. That's why people go into business, because they go into business for a reason. They leave their job, they have that entrepreneurial spurt and they go, my life is going to change. But then they hit these roadblocks along the way. And exactly what you just described, you are there to help unblock those blocks and get them moving forward on the path that they always wanted to go on.
Yes.
It's incredibly important. Now, talking about roadblocks, I'm going to go straight into this because your story is incredibly inspiring. And Hayley and I have had lots of chats before, and I promised her I wouldn't cry on this interview. Can't promise that because I might. But obviously you're running an amazing business, but you've had some pretty significant challenges and roadblocks of your own along the way, correct?
It's been character building. And I think, when I left that world of all the high stress, being in the government, I sort of walked away from that and ended up having a cardiac arrest. I am physically healthy. I have the most healthiest heart you could ever hope to have. There was no reason why my heart stopped. It just did. So I was with my children, and just a series of events meant that I was in the right place at the right time, and my heart was restarted thanks to some amazing members of the public. So it's
getting goosebumps.
One of those things that obviously there is things that I still need to achieve, and I had 3 really good years, and then I put myself back into a position where I was in some fairly significant stress. Didn't feel valued at all, and I went through a period where every 2 months my heart would stop. Luckily, I have an ICD, the internal cardio defibrillator, so when my heart stops, it restarts. I've been known to have heart-stopping moments in meetings with clients, so all of my clients know that this is my party trick.
Right. That's an interesting party trick, Hayley. I'm giggling because I'm thinking that's certainly tops the list.
Yes, I'm all about entertainment. And it wasn't until, for 6 months, every 2 months, my heart would stop and I'd be back in hospital. And it wasn't until I actually went, no, enough's enough. I need to look at my stress levels. I need to change the way I live my life. That my heart stopped stopping. So
isn't that incredible, that point that our body intervenes and goes, enough?
Yep.
What was the point that you identified the stress or the things that were causing the stress? Were you able to pinpoint what it was?
I think it was a case of, because you don't know that you're stressed, and I get that with my clients, like they're just constantly running, going from here to there and everything else, and they're running their business, and this is just life as normal. They don't know that they're stressed until suddenly you end up with physical health and things like that. One of my clients last year actually developed stress-induced epilepsy. So, I mean, it's one of those things that...
I know that one well, actually.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
No, it's not.
It's something that we've actually all got to take notice of and actually say, am I stressed? And it might be that you just end up with an upset tummy. You haven't actually eaten something. It's not that you've overdrunken coffee. It's the fact that you're actually stressed. And you may not mentally feel that.
Yeah.
But your body shows the signs of that.
So you've obviously gone through this incredible journey of your body going, hey, you are putting me through far too much. You've identified what it was. What were the things that you started to do that made the shift for you from being in this high point of stress to a much calmer level?
I think for me, I sort of went through and analysed all the people that I was working with.
People.
Mm-hmm. And everything's about people. Come on, Mel. and actually went, they don't make me happy, so I don't work with them anymore. And that was a really good, how you just, especially when you're building your business, you take anything that's got a wallet and it breathes, because you just want that next client and the next client. They're not always the best client for you. And so I sort of went through my client base and went, actually, I don't want you, and I don't want you, and I don't want, and to be fair, I did actually give away probably a good 40% of my income.
Your health was at stake, right? Like healthy heart, healthy life, get to live, or work with toxic people.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And it wasn't a hard decision to make. I mean, when you're giving away a substantial chunk of money, it's you've got that whole, oh, am I doing the right thing? Da 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 da. But in this case, it was actually, you don't make me happy, so you're out, type thing. The financial impact really didn't come into it, because it was around quality of life, not the growth in the business, if you can get what I mean.
One of the things that's really close to my heart, and as you would know, I talk about a lot, is that working with the right clients, ones that value and appreciate us. But you've added another dimension to that, and it's actually working with the ones who treat us the way that we deserve to be treated. And I mean, you've given us an incredibly extreme example of what can happen to us when we put ourselves in position of not working with the right people. And it's the cost could have been your life. It's a massive cost. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And so this experience for you now, I know, and obviously we've talked about this a lot, but sharing for those that are listening today, the way that you're working with businesses and clients now and the type of things that you're doing obviously has changed with you going through this massive life awakening moment for you. What are some of the things that you're really working with businesses owners around at the moment that are helping them, especially with this particular piece of understanding?
Pretty much last year, I actually started marketing myself as someone who's a specialist in businesses that are struggling financially. So we get a lot of clients coming through that have got IRD debt, substantial amounts of IRD debt. They are
That's stress.
That's major stress.
Now, anyone listening, IRD is the tax authority in Australia, like IRS in US and the ATO in Australia.
Yeah. The emotionally, they haven't been running their business well. They're probably under pressure. They are quite quick to fire sometimes. Like, they get angry really quickly because they're just lashing out.
Stress.
They don't know what to do. And so we're doing a lot of that work now, and we get referrals from accountants nationwide to actually take on these clients, clean them up, train them how to run a business, give them all the tools that they need, and we're getting some really fantastic results. And what sort of happens is they come in. We were the face of St John's advertising campaign a few years ago.
Wow.
So we've been on TV, and then people normally go, "Oh, I know your face." And it's like, "Oh yeah, we're on TV." So,
I'm that, St John's lady.
Yes.
Love it.
And I've actually had clients come in and they were heavy smokers and stuff like that. And my whole thing was always, I'd given up smoking 2 years before my cardiac arrest. And the doctors always said to me that if I was still smoking, the chances of me coming back were probably quite slim.
Wow.
So it was sort of like, and I share my story. And then, that particular client, his wife contacted me 6 weeks later and said he hasn't had a cigarette since he met you. So he just stopped. He gave up smoking, which was really quite cool. But the other side of that, yes, his health improved. He wasn't smoking anymore, but we actually had more money because he wasn't buying cigarettes every week. So there's simple little things that we can do to actually improve a business that has that impact in the mental well-being as well.
Wow. That's so not only are people coming to you to solve their debt problems, they're getting a life-changing message at the same time.
And I think the big thing is overwhelm. Like, if we look at even us as business owners, all of our clients are suffering significantly from overwhelm. Let's say it is what it is, and there is only so many times that you can, you can't eat an elephant at the entire time. We just need to actually break it down and just deal with the parts that we can as we go. So acknowledge that we all feel overwhelmed and just deal with what we can, and we'll clean up the rest later on.
So when you had your heart-stopping moment, you would have arrived at the pearly gates and the man upstairs would have said, "Hayley, it ain't your time yet because you got more work to do, girl."
Yep.
Look at what you're doing.
I firmly say I've been rejected from upstairs and downstairs so many times. I'm going to roam this earth till I'm 150. No one wants me.
Hayley Ren, you are #unstoppable. And talking about unstoppable, you are also the recipient of a lovely, I won't call it little because it's a very significant award, but an award in New Zealand this year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Last month I was named New Zealand's best bookkeeper for 2020. So quite exciting, really.
And that's through the new Association of New Zealand Bookkeepers, correct?
Yes, Institute of Certified New Zealand Bookkeepers.
Love you guys. What an achievement and recognition, especially for the work that you're doing. It is incredibly important work. And, you know, business owners, bookkeepers, accountants, or even anybody that's not any of those and you're just working in a job, which lots of people are doing, Hayley's story and what the work that she's doing is so significant. And I think the big takeaway from this is that no matter where we are and what we're doing, we can take ownership of ourselves, but we also, as an individual, have the ability to make an impact wherever we are. And that we may not think it's much, but everything that we do that's actually inputting into the wellness and support of another person is good and important work. Um, I'm just so grateful that you've come along and shared your journey today, Hayley. Thank you so much. One of the things that I wanted to kind of wrap up with today is there's a lot of bookkeepers that are on the journey, whether they're starting out or whether they're in a growth period, and I can tell you right now, there's many that are stressed and business owners that are stressed. What would be the one most important piece of advice that you would give to those people that are listening to us right now?
I think can I have two, Mel? Can I have two?
Of course you can have two. Of course you can.
The first one would be actually, look after yourself. Decide the direction that you want to go in, because business can pull and push you in so many different areas that you can end up in a place that you actually didn't want to be. And that actually becomes really quite difficult mentally when you're doing work that you don't actually like. So really look after yourself. Decide what your hard limits are in business. Like, I'm not going to give up my Sundays with my family, or I'm not going to, I still want to go to assemblies every Friday or whatever. Set those limits, and it doesn't matter what client comes along, whatever they want, you will not do that. You won't give up those things that you've actually said. Because as long as you've got those things that you want, then you're going to keep driving and growing that business. So the moment you start giving away valuable stuff, that's when you're going the wrong way. And I think the second thing really is about know your limits, know what you're good at, and collaborate with other people in your community. So, as an example, at Inland Revenue, we'd come across a client where someone had given this amazing advice. They were the trusted advisor. They'd been given this amazing advice, and it was the wrong thing to do. And that trusted advisor was out of their depth. So really look around your networks. Like, as bookkeepers, we are incredibly powerful when you think about our collective knowledge. So actually reach out to some of your colleagues, and actually, if you're not feeling comfortable with dealing a certain situation, reach out to them and actually get them to help. Your client will benefit from it. You will benefit from it because you've learnt. And, at the end of the day, we're all much stronger for the benefit of working together, is my key thing. And even though, yes, I'm Bookkeeper of the Year, I have some amazing colleagues that I can call on, and I do regularly, because that's how I'm able to support my clients, is by collaboration with others.
Well, I just noticed our lovely Sarah Burgess did a joint webinar with you recently. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Sarah.
Yes.
Collaboration at its finest. Love it.
Exactly. Yep. And, the more we share, the more our industry is acknowledged.
Agree, 100%. Talking about sharing, if you want to connect with Hayley or follow Hayley, all of her details, website, social handles are in the show notes below. Please share this episode. If you know somebody that can benefit from addressing the stress in their life, that needs to take a bit of a check and get life in priority, please share this episode. Get them to follow along Hayley, and come on in and join our Facebook group, Command the Price You Deserve. Yes, Hayley is in there, and you will be able to engage with her. Thank you so much, my lovely friend. I'm hoping that the travel bubble will open up and I'll be able to get over to our the Bookkeepers Conference in New Zealand. We're holding a mastermind event, a Melanie Power mastermind event, and Hayley is going to be our featured speaker at the event. So, and if I can't make it, I'll be Zooming in.
You'll be here, Mel. You'll be here.
Thank you, beautiful lady. You're such a superstar, and thank you for sharing your goodness to others all around the world. Much love to you.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Mel.
Thanks, love.